Welcome back to the Barca Breakdown. My name is Yusuf, and I'm here with my co-host Adam.
Hey guys, FATIMANIA is back, ladies and gentlemen. Yus, can you believe it? I mean, it was literally like a page out of a fairy tale.
You know what's funny is right before he came on, I said, Adam, he has about 9 minutes.
Yep.
Is he going to score? He scored in 9 minutes. It was crazy.
It was just, and the other thing is he drew a penalty, which
True.
wasn't called.
Very
he should have
true.
scored 2 goals there. I mean, Koeman was pretty clear, even though, you're right, because of his red card against Cadiz, Koeman wasn't on the bench. Alfred Schreuder with those tight pants and the, bulge coming out was there.
Not a good look.
Koeman was clear, though. Fati was getting 15 minutes, so we saw around the 75th minute, Fati was coming in, and then just what we all needed, right? After that awful game against Bayern, after the awful game against Granada, after the awful game against Cadiz, which was so bad we didn't even make a podcast because we were so frustrated. It was just amazing to see Fati come in over 320 days since he'd last played, wearing the number 10 jersey, kind of that emblem of hope for all of us in this post-Messi era. Fati comes in, draws a penalty, scores that awesome goal with an awesome dribble, and then goes and cheers with his team, Araujo holding him up, Fati going and hugging the doctor who helped him on the Barcelona side. I mean, it was just everything you could ask for.
I mean, that's what we've been waiting for, right? I think the Barca page on Instagram, on Facebook, has been really hyping up his return.
And we were worried about it.
Yeah, very
dramatic. We were
dramatic.
worried that Koeman was going to push Fati and Dembele back too soon to try and save the season. And unfortunately, this already kind of puts us in that path of, is Fati going to save it?
True. And we don't want to get there, right? It's a little early for him to come back and really go full force into things. I'm happy that he scored, but we have a lot of problems as Barcelona progresses through this season.
We got to take it step by step with the injuries, right? I mean, can you imagine? I'm salivating thinking about Depay, Fati, Dembele front three, especially after some of the, even though Luuk De Jong scored, some of the hardships he's had, and Coutinho still looks like he needs more time to get back into things. But let's go into the positives, Yus, right? Because, after Cadiz and Granada and Bayern, we had so little positives because it looked like Koeman was just doing this really odd thing. Now that he had Luuk De Jong, who's better at headers than Neymar, he was just trying to cross the ball in and pray that we'd scored, right? Finally, this Levante game, against a team, we must admit, Levante is much, much worse than those other teams we mentioned. Levante played like a Segunda team today. We had some more movement. There was some more passing, right? Without Frankie de Jong, we had Nico, Busquets, and Gavi in the midfield. Then we had, Ter Stegen, Mingueza coming in as that right back, Piqué, Eric Garcia, and then Dest as left back. And then we had Depay, Luuk De Jong, and Coutinho up front. Overall, I mean, there were just some standout players. I think because Levante were at such a low level, we had standout players everywhere. Dest, who, for the last 2 games, I think, has been playing as that left back. He'd had a rough time, right, covering for Jordi Alba, who's injured. Finally, though, he looked like he's starting to make some good runs and some good crosses from that left side, which I was really happy about. And then the opposite wing, I thought Mingueza also is looking really good. Yeah,
I mean, with Dest, I think he's getting more comfortable with not just taking the ball just to cross, right? On that goal with Luuk De Jong, he cut to the middle and was able to provide that pass well placed to Luuk, who could finish it.
Great finish. Yeah,
and I feel like he's been in a poor position to finish, Luuk De Jong. But Dest was able to redirect the ball to a good part of the field and score that goal, which was great. But, on top of that, talking about passes and stuff, I'm glad that we are taking chances, creating space with the passes, and even trying to take chances over the top of the defenders.
Gavi looked really good, getting some balls inside. Nico looked good on defense. With Dest and Mingueza on the left and right, it did seem like we had some more width, which opened up some space in the middle for our midfielders to kind of, create some action. Overall, I was just really happy the team really was fighting today.
Sure.
It's hard to tell if they were fighting more today because they know we just drawn 2 matches in a row, or if they were fighting because Koeman wasn't on the bench, right? That's kind of something I'm not sure of, because I know you were all excited about Schreuder and his tight pants.
I was not excited.
But what I don't understand is, why do you think the team came out and fought so hard? Fighting is obviously a positive, but what do you think made today the day? Was it just because the opponent was so low, or was there something about Koeman not being there that got them more excited?
I think, to be honest, the fact that Levante was underperforming provided them with less resistance. And I think that little resistance created more opportunity and space for the players. And once things started transitioning, they felt more confident. They felt more clear-headed. It wasn't as hard for them to take those chances and succeed from them.
Sure.
I mean, also the fact that Barcelona scored that penalty in the first few minutes, really.
6 minutes.
6 minute is just kind of a securing moment that we don't usually have. Like, if you look at that Granada game, Granada scored early, and we struggled to score until the late 90-something minute. And then in the last game against Cadiz, we didn't score at all. We were having a hard time even taking chances, and we didn't...
and we went down to 10 men.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's my question. So that's good. It's good that we were able to get this game. Now, as we look towards the next week, right, we have two big games. We have Benfica in the Champions League away, right? That'll be in Portugal, I believe. And, with our loss against Bayern Munich so bad, we really can't afford to tie in this group second and third because I think our goal differential will drop us out. And then we come up against Atletico Madrid in Madrid.
Not good, dude.
This coming weekend, Saturday at 12 o'clock.
A lot of travel.
So my question to you is do you think this game is going to be a springboard and we're going to take that momentum and then come up really good the next two games? Or do you think we're going to, revert back to our normal level and not have, a progression?
I think we're going to kind of revert back because the caliber of the team we're going to go against, like Atletico Madrid, is going to be much more difficult than we see against Levante.
Although, Atleti have dropped some points, right?
True, they lost.
They just lost, and I believe they drew the game before that. So, it's not out of the question.
We're still sixth in the league. And I think that we're not too far off points-wise, but I think that the momentum is going to be hard. If you look at teams like Real Madrid, who's in first place, they have come back time and time again in some of these games, although they did actually draw against Levante, which is surprising. And they most recently... Did they also draw against another team recently?
Madrid yesterday.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So there are points being lost, but I think to go back to that point, it's really hard for us to perform like we did today against a more difficult team, a team who has more momentum behind them.
You don't think that this will be a springboard? You think like this is one of those games where we play an easy opponent, we're getting all hyped up, but then when we play Benfica this weekend or Atletico next weekend, you're going to get back depressed Adam and depressed you.
I think so. I think it's not going to be the springboard we hope. I also think Fati is still going to be used. He's going to be used
sparingly.
Sparingly. So I think we're still going to struggle on the attack. Let's not forget our defense is not 100%. I did not like Eric Garcia.
Speaking of that, I don't have any more positives. Do you?
No positives.
Well, let's go to the negatives, right? Because even against a team like Levante, I think we still had some concerns, and we still had some talking points from that Cadiz game that we want to bring up just because, we're in turmoil, right?
Sure.
We have been questioning about doing a video about Laporta and Koeman just because there's so much news out there about, what's going to happen and who's going to be our future coach. It seems like for the meantime, we have Koeman in until he's gone. I don't think this is the best video to talk about kind of what we think is going to happen in the future. But in terms of overall style of play and negatives we saw in these last two games, what do you think?
I think that while we did play well in terms of passing, our passing was off target, especially balls over the top. It seemed like Depay had to forcibly go farther out than he would like to receive the ball. That creates a lag time in their attack, and so the defense from Levante could adjust to that, creates less opportunities. And then on top of that, I think...
well, I got one, man.
Go ahead.
And this is not really in our hand to control, but I feel like overall... this season in particular, the Spanish refs have really been killing us. I mean, that red card against Frenkie de Jong last week, I thought was BS. Koeman being thrown out of the bench for what he said, I thought was BS. I thought overall in this game, right, Fati got a penalty that wasn't called.
This is true.
I think overall, we really don't have the refs anywhere paying us any favors, and so something I'm really worried about. And then I think, you look at across... Joao Felix when he got that red card the other game, like just Spanish refs in general have been really, really poor and not doing a good job of officiating games. And I feel like especially when we're having a hard time creating offense, we might not get the calls we need to give us a penalty or to give us a yellow or a red. And so it's just gonna be another stacked card against us this season.
That is a great point, and I didn't really think of it. But I will say, unfortunately, those kinds of circumstances are not in our hand, right? And so at the end of the day, it's really what we can produce. And I think that we have a lot of room to grow. And I think with you sent me a thing on Twitter today, the average team age, player age,
was crazy. It went from like let me just pull it up really quick. It's crazy because if you look at the average age of players in this team, you have, a bunch of players who are in their like 30s. Then you have a few like Depay, 26, and then you have a bunch of teenagers or people
17,
around the
18,
age.
20, not really 17, but more like between 19 and 22, I would say, is a large range of players that were on the pitch, especially today. We had Gavi, Nico, we had Eric Garcia, who's young still, but not as young. But, I think, like I said, we have a lot of room to grow, and I think Koeman is also making some poor choices in our lineup. I did not, and I haven't had a lot of faith in Eric Garcia recently. Take him out.
Either.
I know Araujo or Lenglet could love to play in a game like this, and I think they should have, although I think...
Well, that's what's kind of confusing, man, because I think you're right. I'm not a big Eric Garcia fan, although I'm willing to give him, time to grow because we haven't had him that long, and I feel like players like Malcolm or Trincao or Pjanic in the past were really not given the chance to show themselves and show what they can do. But I just get kind of confused sometimes because against Cadiz, you have Araujo and Piqué. Then this game, you have Piqué and Garcia. It just feels like kind of a musical chairs with who's starting and who's not. And I guess he wants to give more rotation. It's just I feel like Lenglet needs to be in the cards there because even though he was prone to mistakes last season, the season before and the season before that, we really all loved him and thought he was like a very solid center back. And so I think Lenglet should get some more time in there. I think kind of rounding it off, Yus, my question to you is, how much do you think this game will give Koeman any credit? Do you think because Laporta, it seems like he's really not sure what to do. There are reports that Xavi does not want to come now and that, mid-season he's not a fan of. There's reports that some people on the board like Roberto Martinez. There's also reports of people liking Pirlo. I mean, those have been kind of blown down now. But overall, what it really seems like, there's no clear choice. It's not like we have that number one opportunity. The only clear thing is that we don't think Koeman is the coach for the long term.
Sure.
So do you think a game like this gives him any breathing room? Because we remember, right, after Bayern, there was that whole 4 games that Laporta was going to give Koeman. The first 2 were a draw. This one was a win.
My personal opinion is no. I don't think this game should be chalked up to Koeman's prowess of his tactical being or something like that. I think it's, like we highlighted, a poor Levante performance. We adjusted a little bit more and make some changes, but I don't think that's going to be a long-term change. So I think it's just a fluke, unfortunately, at the moment. But you're right.
I'm way anti that. I think this game is going to be a jumping point. Okay. I think now that Fati's healthy, Depay, Araujo, the whole team feels this energy. De Jong is going to be back soon. I think that this is going to be a jumping off point. I'm claiming we're going to Benfica. We're going to get a win, and then we're going to go against Atletico Madrid in Madrid. We're going to get a draw or a 1-goal win, and then we're going to be thinking way differently as we go into the
let's say that. Okay, you're going into Benfica away.
2-1.
2-1.
Barca. Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. Wow. We're going to win 1-1 draw.
We're going to win a 1-1 draw?
I want to call a win, but I just don't feel that confident. But yeah, I think overall, I think we're going to get some more action from this game. I really do think it'll be like an avalanche that'll help start the positive feelings and thoughts as we go into the season.
I understand what you're saying, and I want to believe those things. I just feel like with Koeman being the person leading the charge, it has not been able to build that momentum. Every time we think we might get some momentum, it gets crashed. And I think it's a train that keeps on going around in the same circle.
I don't think so, man. I think the spring of last year and the winter, like January through March, we had a really good run. And I think it's possible again. But let us know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys so much. Please hit that subscribe button. We're ready for the Champions League and let it go. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.